I've no idea what I'm actually going to call this video, because what we're about to see is not the old world, it's actually Age of Sigmar. But I do feel like the old world will look sort of similar to this. Basically, it's Empire but redone. I think the new models will have similar qualities but not quite be the same. Anyway, we'll have a quick look at the video. The video itself, I have to say, very nice. What they're basically showing off is 2 new models for the Free Guild. It's the Dawnbringer Crusades. Now, forgive me if I'm actually misusing some of the phrasing here. Obviously, I don't really follow Age of Sigmar at all, for very simple reasons that I'm just more interested in Warhammer The Old World. And what we appear to be looking at are some officers. Now, whilst the iconography is obviously not going to be Warhammer The Old World related, for example, one of them have like a Sigmar sign on the shoulder, I do think that when you look at the quality of this and the way that it's sculpted and you compare it to, say, like the Bretonnian, there are some kind of like similarities. And I have to say, I really like them. And if we jump into the article and have a look, then yeah, it just shows the same thing what we like literally just saw, so there's nothing like crazy here. But I just want to bring your attention to some of the details. I really like these. I just want to sort of compare them a little bit to the Paladin. I know the aesthetic is a little bit different. Obviously here we're more with the Bretonnian / French medieval period of time kind of thing, and the other one is effectively Empire. But for me, there's like, I don't know, I'm seeing a very similar sort of quality to them. That's quality, but for somebody who can't speak properly, and I can't quite put my finger on it. Now, as far as I know, this is in resin, right? The Bretonnian's in resin. The Free Guilds are obviously going to be in plastic, but it's interesting that there's still sort of like a similarity there that I can't quite put my finger on it. Not just the pose. The pose of the Bretonnian's obviously like with his sword down, and then there's like this model who's not in the exact same position or anything like that, but he's got that same sort of like sword in his hand, but like bouncing on the ground. Yeah, I just get a few like similarities. I think it's becoming more and more obvious that these are not going to be cross-game. It definitely now looks to me that these are never going to be used in Warhammer The Old World. And if anything, I think this is sort of them distancing themselves from it, but also trying to bring the sort of like new take to it. But if we start getting Warhammer The Old World models that look anything like this, I'm going to be pretty damn happy. I would like a little bit less detail. I've said that a couple of times on stream as well, for example. But actually, this one, I think they sort of look more complicated than they are, really. All of the detail on the armor, you could literally just paint that one color. You don't really need to paint the cloak detail. In a way, this one seems like more simple than, say, the Bretonnian. The Bretonnian's sort of all over the place with detail, and so quite frankly, it's a Tomb King. And it was more these guys where I think they've maybe overdone the details a little bit. I mentioned on stream when these guys were announced, the knee pads here, or the knee, whatever, they're just knees, I guess. They just look so weird to me. People were saying that it's because the horses are starving, but either way, I just really dislike the knees on these. But my point overall is that they have a lot of detail, and I sort of hope that the Warhammer The Old World models are a little bit simpler. But it might be that they're going the complete opposite way of that. Maybe these 2 models here sort of indicate that they're not bothered about that. And they did say in the Q&A that they're actually going for more advanced veteran hobbyists and gamers. So maybe they're just going to actually do the exact opposite of what I personally would have wanted, which would have been like a simple, more basic, you know, models. But that's okay, I can live with it. I'm guessing a lot of this you could actually just paint sort of the same color. It just looks a lot if you pick out all the details. Not sure the same can be said for the Bretonnian. But yeah, personally, it's not the old world, but it sort of gives me old world-esque vibes, obviously, because they are effectively Empire but redone. These Free Guilds are looking pretty damn sick though. I am sort of curious when we'll get our next bit of Warhammer The Old World news. We were on a cycle of about every month, and Warhammer Fest was, you know, nearly a month ago now. So we could be getting an article within the next week or 2, but there's no hints right now. I haven't seen anything that says otherwise, or like it'll be anytime soon. Hopefully they'll keep with that cycle. I hope they weren't just ramping up to Warhammer Fest and then be like, we'll leave it for now and come back later. I want more. I need more. Give me more, GW. Please. What you should definitely do though is have a most beautiful day. If you want to support the channel, I do have a Patreon. I realize there's not really much to talk about right now. There's not that much new stuff. I didn't really talk about the postal stamps because I'm not really sure it means anything, and I didn't want to just like wildly speculate, but fair enough for the people who wanted to talk about that and thought that it was. It might be an indication that we're getting some of those units. I would sort of suspect we are. It sounds like a lot of the old plastic stuff's going to come back. But yeah, I don't know if it means anything, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. Have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.